What is a function's domain? Imagine you have a magic box that gives you a result whenever you put something into it. But not everything can go into this box without causing problems. That's where the idea of a function's domain comes in. It's like a list of all the things you can safely put into the box so it works perfectly. In math, a function is a rule that takes an input and gives back an output. The domain is all the inputs that work with that rule. For example, if you have a function called f(x) that equals to times x plus 3, you can put in any real number for x. So, the domain for this function is all real numbers because there are no restrictions. But some functions have limits on what you can put in. If the function involves dividing by a number, you can't divide by 0 because that's undefined. For example, if f(x) equals 1 divided by x minus 1, then x can be any number except 1. Because if you put in 1, you get division by 0, which is not allowed. So the domain excludes that value. If the function involves a square root, you can't take the square root of a negative number because that would give an imaginary number. For example, if f(x) equals the square root of x minus 1, then x has to be greater than or equal to 1. Otherwise, the inside of the square root is negative, and that's not a real number. When we look at linear functions, which are written as f(x) equals m times x plus b, the domain usually includes all real numbers. That's because linear functions can accept any real number as input and still give a valid output. Graphically, the domain is all the points along the horizontal axis where the graph exists. If you draw the graph, the part that stretches along the x-axis shows the domain. It's like the range of inputs you can use without causing any issues. To find the domain of a function, start by checking if any values make the function undefined. Look for division by 0 or negative numbers under square roots. Then, remove those values from the set of all real numbers. The remaining set is your domain. You can write it using interval notation, like from 1 to infinity, or set notation, like all x, such that x is greater than or equal to 1. Knowing the domain helps you understand what inputs are allowed for a function. It's especially useful when you are graphing or solving problems. For learners new to algebra, recognizing restrictions on the domain makes sure you use functions correctly and avoid mistakes. In simple terms, the domain is the set of all input values that won't cause any mathematical problems when plugged into a function. For most linear functions, unless there's a special restriction, the domain is all real numbers. That means you can use any number you want as input and get a valid output.